So RAM is becoming affordable again? Question mark?
Well, almost. I mean, I think the trend is going the right direction. We're still kind of semi-far away from where we were when this all started.
So it is coming down a little bit. So I'm an AMD guy, so that means I want to, what do they call their fabric? The Infinity Fabric or something like that? But anyway,
something like that.
It's the clock speed between the memory and the chip in the CPU, right? So you want fast stuff because you can crank that fabric up a little further than, so you can get 6400 megahertz. That seems to be the sweet spot. But you can crank it up a little bit further and actually get much, much better performance out of just overclocking your CPU. Overclocking your RAM will actually give you a little bit of an uplift as well, as opposed to, I think Intel, you get a little bit of an uplift, but nowhere near the kinds of gains you get on the AMD side. But the reason I bring this up is I made a post back in 2025, late December, early December. It was in December sometime. And my jaw dropped when I saw $900 RAM.
Yeah.
Like, the last time prior
so that's
to
for
this
64 gig, right?
Right. The last time that my jaw dropped at that price was when I was looking at something like, 256 gigabytes of RAM.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that's worth $900 pre-December 2025. But post-December 2025, no. So that's what 64 gigs of 6400 megahertz. It's got RGB on there, so okay, add $20. But that's what that RAM is going for at that time. And over the next 3 months, I saw that number climb to over $1,100. And so, by the way, this is me walking into a Best Buy, right? So there's no premium cut like you might get at an Amazon or something like that, but you also risk getting a rock.
Yeah, it's not discounted at all. I mean, you're paying the store markup, whatever that is.
Yeah, these are real retail prices, right?
Right.
So I go in and I check again, and sure enough, it's like $1,134 for the same 2 sticks of RAM. And this is disheartening. So, RAM is just going up and up and up and up and up, and my next build is getting more and more and more unobtainable. To where the point at this point, I'm just like, do I just buy?
Hang on. Yeah, well, I'm at the point, like, I need to do some upgrades at some point too. I mean, I've got a 2700 AMD chip. My processor. That's starting to get a little long in the tooth.
You gotta get on AM5, baby.
I wanna, but no, that means I need DDR5. Like, I'm DDR4 right now, right? That means DDR5 means I'm right into the same boat as you, looking at these same prices. And they scare me, so I'm just going to hold on as long as I possibly can, I feel like.
Right. So the thing that gives me a little hope, right? Because I was in the crazy state of, well, do I just pay $1,000 for 64 gigs of RAM? And I mean, the answer is no. But I can't lie to you. I considered it. So the thing that's letting me take heart is that today, I looked. It's down to $850.
That's way better in a way. The trend is going the right direction. That's for sure.
Yes. It's lower than the price that originally made me drop my jaw to the floor. Will this trend continue?
Boy,
I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping so. But Raspberry Pi, they say nay. We will continue to rise.
They're worried about it, right? So they're raising their prices. They're raising their prices again, making it go. Oof.
Well, and this is the same calculus, right? So now, what did we say? We looked these up a little while ago, but you can get like a Raspberry Pi 4 gig for about $100 now. I mean, we're talking. Wasn't this like $65?
I think when they were introduced, for sure. Yeah, that was for the top end one, $65. I think they went down from there, right?
Yeah, the 1 gig was maybe like $40 because they had to rise their prices just a little bit, right?
They did.
So it was like 40 or 45, and then the next one was 55, and then the next one, maybe it was 75.
Maybe.
But still, we're talking a huge increase in cost now.
So we're talking about the same thing. It just went up to $100, right?
Yes. So, I mean, all this to say, this is not necessarily directly Raspberry Pi's fault, right? So all memory across the whole entire thing is
extra pricing for the RAM that they're putting into it. Yeah.
Exactly. And so the thing that really kind of gets me is like the Raspberry Pi 4, like those are understandable price rises because memory is going up.
Not as bad.
It's when you start getting into the Raspberry Pi 5 arena that things start getting gross. And again, I don't think this is directly Raspberry Pi's fault or anything like that. I do truly believe that outside of a small sliver here, they're rising prices as much as they're being risen from the people that are getting the memory
passing
from,
it
right?
along. Yep.
Right. I don't think they're gouging us, but I think the market is gouging us.
Yeah. It essentially it's pricing them out of the market in a way, I feel like.
Right. Out of their niche, which was a very low cost machine that you could do fun server tricks with, or even run a full desktop with, give it to someone that doesn't need to do much, but a little browsing, a little 4 gig version of this would be fine. But today, you can get the 2 gig version of the Raspberry Pi 5 for $65, but you can't. That's not the whole story. With the Raspberry Pi 4, you could just leave it on the desk. You didn't have to put it in a case. You put it on some cardboard so it doesn't like get shocked or something. But you could just run it that way if you had an old 5-volt charger.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
you could make it work.
Yep.
But the Raspberry Pi 5s aren't like that. They need active cooling. And well, could you blow on it without a case and it stay cool enough? You could try.
I mean, I'd hyperventilate probably trying to keep up with it, but
yeah, you'll pass out before you finish the job. Yeah. But if you're doing anything remotely intense, then no, it's going to run away from you. It's going to overheat and it's going to have to downclock and it'll have to bring the temperatures down. And so it'll take care of itself. Don't get me wrong. You could run it without a cooler, but if you actually want to get the performance that you're supposed to be getting with a Raspberry Pi 5, you're not going to run it without active cooling. So you have to buy a cooler on top of that. So, I mean, we're talking at least $70, $80 to get a Raspberry Pi 5 2 gig, right? And then that just gets worse when you go to the 4 gig. It's over $100 now. $110 for the Raspberry Pi 4 gig.
It's starting to jump real quick. Yeah.
And then we get crazy. So they introduced the 8 gig.
8 gig and a 16 gig.
Right. So the 8 gig was announced early on so I think there was like speculation that there might be an 8 gig, and then it turns out that there was an 8 gig. Wow. But the price rise was up to $175.
Yeah.
And then
just And then strap in. Hold on tight, please, because the 16 gig. What do we got there?
$300. It's $300 for 16 gigs of RAM on a Raspberry Pi 5.
Whoa.
We have jumped the shark at this point.
Take all my breath away right there. Holy moly.
You know that jaw drop I had when I saw $900 RAM? It's the same jaw drop I had when I was like, no way.
Yeah.
No way. Is that even... Why would I want this?
Well, that's just it, I think, because as much as I can be a fan of the Raspberry Pi and all of the ecosystem all around it, right, and how great it is in the low power thing, whatever, that's cool. But I don't think you can justify it when you can go get a little mini PC for about less money and have it do more. And maybe use a little more power, but not enough to justify the difference, because you'd have to run it solid all the time, full bore for like a year before you're going to notice a difference in power costs, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, because you really are. I think we were looking at some of these like the B-Link and the GM Tech and just some of the Chinese boxes that you can get, but they have Intel chips inside of them. They've got I mean they've got not bottom of the barrel SSDs, which is this is the thing.
That's better too. Yeah, because you don't have good PCI lanes to your drive support stuff on the Pis either.
So this is the thing that's really getting me, right? So like to get a 16 gig system, you're getting an Intel chip that can outpace a Raspberry Pi 5. You're getting the ability to upgrade your RAM, so you can go beyond 16 if you want to. You're getting actual PCIe lanes so that you can slot in a true NVMe and actually take advantage of some of the speeds that it may only be like a 4x lane or something like that, but you're still getting
way better.
Right, much. And this all comes for the price.
I would say all the accessories probably run faster, better too, because you think about like Ethernet probably is faster. Because I don't know about the Pi 5s, but I think the 4s, they're still USB Ethernet adaptoids that are on the motherboard, right?
I do think with the 4 they separated those out, so I think you can get your full 1,000 megs on Ethernet.
That's an improvement then. All right,
starting with the 4, and then with the 5, they brought out. I think there was like actual storage bandwidth. So when you the daughter board thing and attach an NVMe, I think you do get some benefit. But these are just things that are not
the same. Yeah, it's not the same still, right? Yeah,
right. So if you are a price-conscious shopper and are not married to either A, the Raspberry Pi platform, or B, the ARM ecosystem, it just doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. I wanted to see the ARM stuff take a hold because it is more eco-friendly in regards to power consumption, right? Even if it is somewhat insignificant, I guess, overall. But, like, if you're running an always-on machine, you probably would appreciate it, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, I certainly do. I still run a Pi 2 and a Pi 3 for this reason.
Yeah, for that reason.
Because, like, I can run applications on this thing, and it just, I mean, it sips. I mean, like the kilowatt that I plug it into is like,
is there something on? Yeah.
It's going full bore, So, it's not like it uses a whole lot of power, and that is one of the best things for it. So, I mean, in that way, there's still some of the best boards that you can buy, but as far as price goes, the calculus is different now. With memory prices the way that they are, the calculus is totally different now. And if, again, it's all about the ecosystem. If you're in that ecosystem, then it still kind of makes sense depending on the memory level that you want. But if you're just looking for some compute and compatibility, it's a stretch. It's a real big stretch at this point. And and that's sad. I do love me some Raspberry Pis. So when the prices come back down, and this is what I was saying about DDR5, maybe these prices are going to keep inching downward. And at that point, Raspberry Pi can start tapping the brakes too and bring it back down to where it's a real struggle. Like, do I get a Raspberry Pi? Because I could probably get two Raspberry Pis for the one thing over here, but then I'd have to, then it's a separate Ethernet port. Like, I want that to be my dilemma, not cost. That's a terrible choice to have.
So I do hope, I hope success there. I hope they're able to rein that in, and able to, meet what they need for price tag to be able to support the things and still have it at a reasonable price. I mean, I think you get over that $200 mark and I start to get a little worried, right?
Exactly.
That's the line for me is $200. I'm not really into it for much more than that, I guess, given what it does. It's just not enough.
Yeah, no. I mean, I liked walking into a Micro Center and then impulse buying a $55 Raspberry Pi.
Oh yeah, that was great. Right. I do think some of the greatest things are still the Pi 2.0 Ws and whatnot. Like those are still pretty good bang for your buck.
For those.
They aren't high power or anything, but boy, they're cheap. So I know what I'm getting and I'm getting what I pay for. Kind of thing is the way I feel about it.
with Motion Eye, I think is what it's called, they will run a replacement for your Ring doorbell that you need to get rid of. And right, I mean, they're going to be about the same price as a Ring doorbell, but it's one you control, and that is still worth it.
And so that, I think, is still something to watch out for. So Raspberry Pi as a whole ecosystem is not dead to us. It's just some of the higher end stuff is not so great right now.